be able to view this later. So just be aware you are being recorded at this time. All right, very good. Here we go. All right, so if you missed out this morning, the Santa Rosa County Board of County Commissioners gave us a proclamation for Amateur Radio Week, designating the week of June 20th through 27th as Amateur Radio Week in Santa Rosa County. So we thank them for that, and I did post the video out there on Facebook and our SRC Aries website as well. So you can go out there and view that. And I would just ask if everybody would please mute your mics if you're not talking, just so we don't get any echoes back and forth. All right, and location updates. Again, we are doing this in the north parking lot of the EOC, operating out of the communications trailers or outside. So the EOC, if you're not familiar with it, is at 4499 Pine Forest Road in Milton, right almost behind the county auditorium. Back there across from where the old Kmart used to be. So we're going to do it there. This is the tentative layout, of course, subject to change as we all know how field day goes. You never know exactly what's going to happen, but we'll have the EOC trailer set up out there. They're going to set that up for us. I talked to Mr. Tom today, said they're likely going to go ahead and get that out there Thursday night for us. John came, God, John, I can't remember your call sign. Came for FJW, I think it is. And then James K9JHR have been diligently working on the trailer that the RRPA got donated that we're going to use for Aries and many other educational opportunities. That's going to be there. So we'll have stations set up in there, and I'll talk about who's going where here in just a moment. We'll have the information tent over here on the right-hand side. The Air Force actually a couple, I guess, month and a half ago reached out to me and asked if they could come and set up some stuff out there for us. So they're going to actually set up some games and informational things out there, again, trying to attract as many of the public as we can get out there. We've got the food drive tent here. And again, if you haven't heard me say this enough, Food Racing Friends is an organization that also supports Santa Rosa County. They provide meals for kids that are out of school during extended breaks that would not have normally gotten nutritious meals. And if you bring an item from their list, which is posted on our website and Facebook page, you'll get a raffle ticket for every item that you bring. And we have several prizes. Jack got several weather crank radios that also power cell phones, among other things. And then our big prize for that, I picked up a 43-inch 4K smart TV. So if that's not reason enough for you to bring something for them, I don't know what is. So we've got that. A couple members from CERT will be out there, another partner organization for the EOC. And I know this says pending food truck here, but that has been finalized, and we have 850 Barbecue will be out there serving barbecue for us, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment. I did not think about it when I got a barbecue food truck, but I guess that goes well with ham radio. So we've got that going for us. License testing, I guess let me walk through the timeline. So setup, we're going to start at 7:30 a.m. on Saturday. We're going to have breakfast out there available at 7 a.m. That's I'm going to provide that, so that'll be out there available for you starting at 7. Operations for field day start at 1 o'clock and end on Sunday at 1 o'clock. The main quote-unquote public event, as I say, that's got all the other activities going on is from 1 to 6, but we will be operating the full 24-hour period. The 1 to 6 is just when all this extra stuff's going to be out there. We are doing license testing as well. I know Five Flags is doing that in the morning over at their field day event, but we're going to have license testing at 5 o'clock. So if somebody misses in the morning, they can come get it in the evening. So we'll have that available. And then we're going to have plenty of signage out there. I'll probably need to borrow somebody on Saturday to kind of help get the signage out. We're going to wait to put that out till closer to 1 to make sure we don't get any early visitors, but we have plenty of signage. So we're super signed out. So let me move forward here. We are going to operate as a Class A, which means we're outdoors with 6 stations. So our exchange, and this is something you'll need to know, but I will have at, and we'll talk about this again in just a second, I will have at every station a book that's got our incident plan, as well as the field day rules and all the information you need to know. So you will be fully in the know. But our exchange will be 6 Alpha North Florida. That's our section is North Florida. So we will be operating as 6 Alpha North Florida. In the EOC trailer on the generator, we will have 2 of our brand new, the county just bought us ICOM 7100s that will be set up with laptops in there. Steve W4SJV, you'll be in there in the MCOM trailer, and Brian KM4BWW will also be in there. The RRPA trailer, Jack is going to be set up in there with his station, and then we will also have the likely inside there the GOTA station, which stands for Get on the Air. We'll talk about again here in just a moment. And then I'm going to just rough it and be outside, although if it gets too bad, I'll move inside my camper that I'm going to have up there. We will have a camper up there for a safety location. Of course, we've got 2 air-conditioned trailers in the EOC, but we'll talk more about that in just a moment. And then all of the laptops, every station that we have set up will use the N3FJP ARRL field day logging software. And I'll do a demonstration of that here in just a moment so you can see how that works. But it makes logging very easy. They're all networked together to avoid duplicates, and we'll talk about how to use that. Any questions about the number of stations or who's going where or any of that? All right, general field day rules. So the bands that we can operate on are the 160, 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10 meter bands, as well as anything above 50 megahertz. So VHF and UHF count as well. I did go out and purchase a set of the filters that limit what band that you will receive on. So this really helps with cross interference between stations. And I also bought this quadplexer that will go in the EOC trailer. So the EOC trailer can share one antenna and use any of the frequencies on the quadplexer. So that should simplify life a little bit more. The way that we do, let me pause one moment. Field day contacts are allowed using phone, CW, and digital non-CW modes. Stations can be worked once per band per mode. So that means if you made voice contact with a station on, on one band, you can make contact with them on another band. So we have that available to us, and it'll warn you if you try to do a duplicate in the software. We'll look at that in just a moment. The use of the use of more than one transmitter at the same time on a single band is prohibited. The exception to this is the Get on the Air station. It may operate on any band at any time. So the way that we do band management that we did at Winter Field Day that worked out for us very well, wherever I have the set of filters, we will also have a set of signs that look like this that list out every band that we can operate on for voice. Steve, I think you're the only one on digital, so it won't really matter. So you and I can coordinate if I end up doing some digital. But all the voice bands will be listed here. We'll have them sitting here with the filters. So whenever you take, let's say, the 15 meter band, you can then take the corresponding filter with it. You'll take that off, and then when a band becomes available, you can swap in with those signs that are out there. So it makes band management really easy, kind of self-service. If we end up in a situation where somebody's been hogging a band for a while, we'll deal with that when we get there. But so far, every time we've done this, it's worked out well. So any questions on the general rules? There's plenty more rules, but kind of the general rules or how we're going to do band management or the filters or anything like that. All right, none heard. All right, so this is where I really want to focus here for just a moment. So where we need help and kind of the bonus points, and I will tell you, I'm not worried about points necessarily. These are just things that are really important to me, especially for field day. The public information table discussing what we do. We'll have many informational flyers available. I've got tons of stuff that will be at the information table. I know Josie, my wife, WD4DCL, will handle the information table, but others we will certainly need. Just plan that 1 to 6 time frame when the main public event is going on. If we've got a lot of visitors out there, I just ask that everybody please, if you see somebody that's not getting talked to or has questions, please do help them. We really want to make sure that the visitors are able to find out what's going on and what amateur radio is all about and what we do. One of the other things that we would like to do is if somebody comes up and they're asking questions, tell them about message handling, how we were able to send messages via amateur radio to somebody in another location. Say, hey, sir, do you have a family member in another state that you'd like to send a message to via amateur radio? They say, sure. All right. Then you take a radiogram, fill it out, and then we can send those either via one of the National Traffic System nets, or we can just put them in on WinLink. WinLink would probably be the easiest, and I can help coordinate that. But we will have a pad of radiograms out there. So if somebody wants to get on the air and chat, or excuse me, well, we got get on the air too. But if somebody wants to send a message to another area, we can do that. The Get on the Air station, one of the most important things we want to have out there. Again, that's going to likely be inside the RRPA trailer. But if you see a visitor, help them get on the air. Everybody that we can get on the air will get one of these special GOTA pins, get on the air pins. So that's something, a commemorative activity that they can have, something to bring back with them. So if we see visitors, please do try to get them on the air. And let me skip down here real quick back to youth participation, especially if we have anyone younger than 18. As you all know, we need some younger blood in the amateur radio field. So if you see a young person out there, there is a good chance that we're going to have some of the Boy Scouts visit. I will also have D-Star available at one or two of my handhelds that you can get the youth on the air with as well, so they can talk around the world. But if we have any youth out there, please do try to get them on the air. One of the things to kind of encourage participation and get everybody to help with this, if you do any of these things, if you get a youth, if you help somebody send a message, if you get somebody on the air at the GOTA station, or if you get a youth on the air at the GOTA station, you will get a raffle ticket for some prizes of our own. I've got a separate set of prizes for everybody that helps with all this public stuff. So, and if you get a youth on the air, you get 2 raffle tickets. So we've got several prizes that we're going to raffle off for everybody. If you do any of these things here, help at the public information table. If you if you handle a message, the goal would be to at least send 10, because that's what we get the bonus points for. But send some messages. If you help somebody get on the air, or if you get a youth on the air, you will get a raffle ticket for a prize. And the way to handle the GOTA station is just, if you're talking to somebody about amateur radio, and they're asking questions, you're interacting with them, just say, would you like a chance to get on the air? And then you can just take them right over there to the Get on the Air station and get them going and make a contact. The exchange for the Get on the Air station, and there's a separate FAQ, frequently asked questions, that will be in the booklet there with the GOTA station that answers many of the questions. But for the GOTA station, you use the exact same exchange. So you'll use 6 Alpha North Florida. But I did get a 1x1 call sign for the Get on the Air station, which is Kilo 4 Sierra, K4S. Will be the separate call sign for the Get on the Air station. So when you're doing an exchange, it'll be Kilo 4 Sierra. We are 6 Alpha North Florida. So that is the special call sign for the Get on the Air station. Educational activities, Steve, if you get a chance to maybe do something on crimping or something while we're there, I'm sure we'll be making some cables that morning, so we can do that. And then media and Facebook, I did invite out the Pensacola News Journal and WER. WER did come last year, so we'll see if they come again this year, but we'll get on Facebook. Don't be surprised if I interview you while you're out there. I usually pick on Jack and John and others. So if you don't want to be on Facebook or something, just tell me. But Mr. Helperton over there, Jack, he's the Facebook star. So any questions on any of this public stuff to Get on the Air station, any of that? And again, from the 1 to 6 time frame, I personally plan on, this is where I'll be focused, is just interacting with the public. If my station is not in use at any time, you are more than welcome to go over there and use it. Jack, I know you're the same way. If your station's not in use, folks are free to use it. And we've got the 2 spare 7100s there in the MCOM trailer as well. So again, please do help with the public information part. That is one of the big areas of field day for me, at least. So thank you all for your help on that. Meals and other items. So Saturday morning, we will have breakfast again at 7 o'clock a.m. We're going to pick up kolaches. If you're not familiar with those are a Texas item. They come from Texas, but a place just opened up over here next to Winn-Dixie and Pace. My wife and I have had those several times, and they're very good. So we'll pick that up. We'll also have various juices and whatnot available. Lunch should be available from the barbecue trailer starting at 12:30. I asked him to be done by 12:30 and have food available so that we can all take a chance to eat before we have to start operating and interacting with the public. That will be available for purchase rather than having to do donations and collections and all that kind of stuff. We're just going to do that. And then 6 p.m. he's going to be there till 6, probably a little bit after for dinner, so we can do that. That just simplifies Saturday a lot for that to be handled by somebody else. And then June 27th, Sunday morning, we'll do breakfast around 7 o'clock in the morning. We've got breakfast casserole, sausage, and bacon. And then lunch, we are likely going to do, depending on what happens, we'll likely do sandwiches or something quick for that, unless somebody wants to volunteer to do something bigger. But that will kind of be the plan for Sunday. If you are willing to help with donating any food items, drinks, water, etc., please do make sure Mr. Jack W4JPH is aware, as he's keeping a tally of that. Any questions on the food? All right, and then our lead safety officer will be Mr. James K9 JHR. He will need assistance because he can't do it for 24 hours. So James will kind of make sure, and this is one of the other important areas as we are setting stuff up. We want to make sure that it is set up safely. We don't want a bunch of cables running here, there, and everywhere. Site safety is very important. We will for sure at least have Brad Baker, the public safety director, said he will be stopping by, as well as several of the other EOC staff. So we want to make sure that everything is top notch and looking professional. So James will help us with ensuring that happens. And then for overnight, if anyone is staying overnight or if you're leaving equipment overnight, Brian KM4BWW, who wasn't able to be with us this evening, volunteered to pay to hire a deputy for overnight security. So we will have security from 10 p.m. on Saturday till 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. So thanks to Brian for that. All right, so let's jump out of there real quick and review our action plan. And again, I will have at each one of the stations, I'll have a booklet that's got all of this information in it. We will also have several spares available, but this has got all of the field day relevant information. We are going to try this year to do this in ICS fashion, incident command fashion. So we'll have sign in logs and that kind of stuff. I'm going to put ICS, for those of you that aren't familiar, we'll put ICS 214s out there. That is the activity log. So if you're interested in practicing for an actual deployment, I will have those forms out there. And if you have any questions wondering how those work in a deployment scenario, feel free to ask myself, Jack, Steve, John, Ray, and Daisy, if they're out there. Any of us can help you with that. But if you're interested in practicing for an actual incident, we will have the forms out there available for you to do that. It's not required, but if you're interested in that, we will have that available for you. So we already walked through the sketch and talked about where everything is there. As far as restrooms, there are restrooms inside of the EOC. Access to the EOC is restricted, so you'll need to get with one of us that has a power just went out. One of us that has a badge to be able to get in there. So anybody that does have a badge, please do make sure to bring your badge with you so you can escort folks in and be willing to help folks get in and out of the restrooms. As far as health and safety, again, it is likely going to be hot. It may rain. There's a safety appendix that I'll walk through here in just a moment. If an emergency occurs, please do dial 911 and notify the safety officer. If 911 happens to be in, goodness, power keeps going out. 911 happens to be in the building that we're right beside. So worst case scenario, we run in there and tell them about it. But and then I put the Center of Communications non-emergency and the Sheriff's Office non-emergency number in there as well. This just goes back through the layout of where everything is and all that stuff, and then this kind of walks through the times. So the mobile trailer will be set up out there for us ahead of time. We'll arrive at 7:30 to start deploying antennas and the public information tent and all that. All of our auxiliary vendors and folks there for CERT, the food raising friends, etc., will be there and set up and ready, getting ready at 12:30. On-air operations begin at 1 o'clock, 1300 local time, as well as our public demonstrations. The license testing, as I mentioned, at 1700, 5 p.m. The main public activities end at 6 o'clock p.m. But if you have somebody that wants to visit after that, it's no problem. We will be open to visitors the full 24-hour period. But this is just the time when all the rest of the auxiliary stuff is going to depart. The deputy arrives at 10 p.m., leaves at 6 a.m. And then operations cease at 1 o'clock on Sunday. And then we begin the fun part, trying to clean up and take everything down. And worst case scenario, we'll be out of there by 7, but things seem to go pretty quick on the way down. So I don't expect us to be there that long. As far as the organization, we'll have myself as the incident commander. Jack has got voluntold to be the deputy incident commander. Jack, you probably didn't know that till just right now. So congratulations, Jack, on being the deputy incident commander. Safety officer is Mr. James K9 JHR. And then John, I put you in charge of IT support, if you will, sir. Networking, you've got John KM4FJM will help you with establishing the network. He's also bringing the Wi-Fi for us. I know the trailer has Wi-Fi, but Steve, I know you had trouble with that before. So didn't you with one of the Navarre ones? No, you're looking at me weird, so maybe not.
No, not really. It should be, well, we'll have to test it out that morning, make sure it all works. But
Okay. John, bring yours still just in case. It's always good to have a backup. And then any of the digital radio stuff, Mr. Steve will handle for us. And then Oxcom, I just called all of our Aries volunteers. So any questions on that? And any of our, just so for those of you that aren't familiar with the Santa Rosa County Aries team, I am the emergency coordinator. I've got Jack W4JPH, John KM4QQO, Steve W4SJV, and then Ray K1HG and Miss Daisy KT4KW are all of our assistant emergency coordinators. So if any of you have any questions while you're out there, any one of us should be able to help you. Obviously, field days, we're doing it for the fun and the public information. Some of you may be elite contesters, and that's fine too. But like I said, I'm not worried about points or any of that kind of stuff. We're there to have a good time and work with each other. I really enjoy these events. It's a great time to fellowship with each other and work together and get to know your fellow ham. So we're really looking forward to it. This is just the information on all the stuff that we do need. Does anybody happen to have a diesel fuel can? If not,
I've got a couple.
You got a couple, John? Okay, cool. I'll get those from you tomorrow so I can get some diesel for the main trailer. And then frequencies of use, we will of course use the 146.700 as the primary repeater. This is a ICS form 205. If you're not familiar with it, this discusses what frequencies that you will use. The secondary Aries repeater that we use is the Milton Amateur Radio Club's, the 145.49. And then I put 2 simplex frequencies in there if we need them. We will definitely have a weather alerting station out there. I've tracked down, I know most of our radios will also monitor the weather. And speaking of the weather, there is a chance for that. We'll talk about it in just a minute. And then, of course, our contest frequencies. And I just realized I'm missing my Appendix A that has the safety information in it. So let me open that real quick. Glad I caught that, actually. Let's see, Appendix A, safety. All right, so following current guidelines for COVID, which pretty much isn't anything anymore, sun and heat, avoid sunburn and overheating. If you're going to be outside, please do use sunscreen, cover, hats, etc. Also, drink lots of fluids the day before and during. It is best if you try to drink some water the day before as well. Trying to hydrate the day of can work, but it is good to try to go ahead and hydrate the day before. If you do get too hot and you think you're getting in trouble, start with taking a break in one of the mobile comms trailers, or you're welcome to go in my RV and sit down in there as well. If you feel that you really have gotten too hot, please let somebody know immediately, and emergency services will be notified. Your safety is top priority. So if you aren't feeling well, let somebody know and we'll get you help. The restrooms, as I said, you'll need to get a badged volunteer. Overstress injuries, this is a fun event. Plan and limit your efforts on the day of the event to what is safe for you. Don't hesitate to take a break. If you get too tired, it's not a problem. Fire and electricity, we'll have fire extinguishers available. Exercise great care with fuel and electrical cables. Make sure all the guy wires, ropes, coax cable, etc. are secured and well marked with flagging ribbon and or safety cones to reduce trip hazards, and weighted down in the event of windy conditions. We are at this point, the weather event did say that it was going to be a 30% chance that it was not going to rain. Now it's a 40% chance. So it is a good chance we'll have some rain at some point. Jack, you have your hand raised. Go ahead, sir.
Roger, I'm getting ready to pack it in. I've got net. And
no worries, man.
So I just wanted to tell you, SJV, you want me to log you in?
Sure, why not?
All right, got you covered, my friend. And it was good. I'll get back with you, and John will take me to task for anything I missed.
All right, sounds good. All right, and then let's see, security, make sure everything's locked up. Don't block the EOC doors. See weather. In the event of lightning in the immediate vicinity, the safety officer will make the decision to cease radio operations. Once that decision is made, all radio operations will cease immediately by shutting down the radio and power source. If an operator is in the middle of a QSO, the operator will complete that QSO and then shut down the radio. Once the radios are shut down, the operator will ensure antenna cables are disconnected from the radio. Make sure any extension cords that are outside are not hot that are running on the ground that might get wet. And then if anything outside needs to get covered, please do so. Operations can resume once lightning threat has moved out of the area and when the safety officer has declared it as such. And the safety officer has a checklist that's in there of all the things that they will be looking for. And I think that's mostly it. At the back of this are all of the field day rules. If you haven't read this, all of this is online on our website on the field day page. You can hop out there and get all this, but this is all just the general ARRL stuff that talks about how to have a successful field day and all that kind of stuff. Any questions on the rules, the safety, or any of that kind of stuff before I jump into the logging program?
Kilo
Yeah, I got a
Mike
question
4
for you.
Bravo.
Go ahead.
Yep, Bravo Whiskey Station, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I was able to dial in tonight, and I was just gonna recommend, hey, if you have a headlamp for the nighttime ops, bring your headlamps.
Yep, headlamps are great, absolutely. And John, you had something?
Yeah, I noticed that. So for the 27100s, are we going to use laptops out of the EOC?
Yep, and I've already got them loaded up and connected and verified, tested.
Okay.
Yep.
Just wanted to check.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Yeah, I did that this weekend. All right, anything else on the rules or any of that stuff? All right, some of you may be familiar with the logging software, but let me pull it up here real quick. And again, this will be on all the laptops. This is the N3FJP logging software. Again, since all of the laptops are connected to the computers they're operating with, the band that you're on and the mode that you're on will automatically be populated, so you don't have to do any of that. Just double check it before you hop on there, make sure it is reading correctly, but that should update automatically for you. You will, in this little blue area right here, if you are on the same band with somebody else, it will give you a warning and say, hey, John's on 40 meters also, be careful. If you start typing in, and let's talk about logging here real quick. So whenever you get ready to log a call, let's say that we happen to make a contact with W4UC, and then they'll give us their exchange. I don't know what they are, probably a 9 Alpha if I had to guess. And then they're in North Florida. And you'll notice right here it says new. That means that we have not made a contact with this station before on this frequency. So that means you are good to go. And then you just hit enter, and that logs the call. If I put in the same thing again, you'll notice, see, it tells you, and even verbally says duplicate, so it won't even let you do it. So it tells you that this was already done at this time. And what I will do as well, if I'm listening to stations I'm trying to make a contact with, I'll start typing part of it to see if anything comes up. Because if you come up, as you notice there, as I'm starting typing, look what it gives you at the bottom. It gives you any possible duplicates. So this really makes it easy for you to not duplicate a contact. As we're making contacts, anything that we make a contact with will light up in blue. So once we've hit a section, it lights up in blue, so you know we've made a contact in that section. Would love to get this map all blue, but we'll see what happens. Winter Field Day, we didn't quite make it, but yeah, as you make contacts, this will all light up. Another cool thing in the software here is you can go to View Map, and this actually brings up a map of all the sections and lights them up as you make a contact. So this is really cool, especially if you've got a visitor over your shoulder. Bring this up and say, hey, well, here's where we've talked to already. Canada, we always seem to make some good contacts with in Canada too. So this will be up there and available for us. So that's a cool thing. And it keeps a total running number of contacts that we've got over here. The number of contacts we've made in the last 20 minutes and the number we've made in the last 60 minutes. All that shows up here. So it's real easy software. Again, as you're sitting there listening to a station, we may end up calling CQ, who knows? But if you're trying to just make contact with a station that's calling CQ, just start typing their station in there as you can get it. It's going to take you probably a couple tries to get through to a station. So you can go ahead and type in if they get their exchange and all that, stuff in there already. You can go ahead and type that all in, and then once you get the contact, then you can just hit enter once you've made the contact, and boom, there you go. Ed, I see you have your hand raised. Go ahead, sir. Ed, you're muted, looks like. Try it now, Ed. We're not hearing anybody. Here, let me call you real quick, Ed, and I'll get your question. What you got, Ed? Okay, no problem, buddy. Okay, no problem. All right, Ed didn't have a question. He just accidentally clicked it. No problem. All right, but yeah, that is the logging software. Like I said, just as you're sitting there, you can go ahead and pre-type all this stuff in, and then once you've made the contact, you just press enter, and it logs it for you. You'll know if you get a duplicate. Just read your possible duplicate section, verify you're on the right band and phone. We will have all the laptops connected to the radio, so that should auto-populate for you. If you forget your exchange, it's right down here at the bottom. We will operate with the EOC's call sign K4SRC, 6 Alpha, North Florida. Again, if we're on the GOTA station, that will just be Kilo 4 Sierra. And we'll have all the booklets out there by the stations, the placards for the band coordination, all that'll be set up for us. It'll have all the exchange information on there as well. So you should be set up for success. But that is all that I had for this evening. For any of you that did join late, I did record this and I will get it edited and posted to our Aries webpage so you can view it if you did miss anything. But do we have any questions, comments, complaints, or suggestions from anyone out there? Mr. Steve has his hand raised. Go ahead.
I've got 2 questions. Number 1, additional coax. Are we going to be needing any additional coax?
We should not, and I've still got that roll that you gave me, so I'll bring that just in case we need it. But I think we should. If you've got connectors, we should be set.
I've got a bunch of those, so we should be okay on that. Also, is anybody going to be copying the ARRL field day message, either CW, voice, or digital?
Nobody
Or
has volunteered.
Should we have
yet.
multiple people try it? And
Yeah, I've got the
Hopefully we'll
schedule
get
in
one.
the booklet as well. So anybody that wants to try to copy it can. I did put the schedule in the back of the booklet. But yeah, and I think Steve, didn't you say they do it Friday night as well?
yeah, they do it Friday night. They do it a few times on Saturday, and I want to say maybe Sunday morning too. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the schedule yet, so I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Yeah, but for those of you that don't know what Steve's talking about, Whiskey 1 Alpha Whiskey, which is the ARRL's call sign, they do a bulletin out there on the air, so you get bonus points if you copy it down. So if you want to attempt that, that will be in the booklet as well.
And also, as a last case, worst case, whatever, we can try to copy it during Saturday evening via digital mode if we want to go that route too, and
Absolutely.
do a little training.
Yep, absolutely. And if anyone is interested in digital mode, Steve, I know we'll be more than happy to help you through that. I'm going to attempt some while I'm there. So, Steve, I'm gonna have to steal you for a minute. But anything else, Steve?
Nope, we're
All right.
good.
Anyone else have any questions, comments, complaints, or suggestions?
Hey, Ark, this is Brian Winable.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, I just wanted to say, Kilo 8 Sierra November Hotel, Matty Green, you tested him, and he's actually a friend of mine. He's going to be coming out. He's planning on staying with us the entire time out there. So I think he's even going to test for general.
Awesome,
But,
man.
Again, he's going to show up.
Yeah,
either
he's
for the
actually on
race.
with us tonight too.
Roger.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good deal, Matty. And yeah, as far as everybody, for those of you that don't have a general or higher yet, you can still operate on HF as long as you've got somebody near you that does have their general or higher. So even if you have your technician, you're good to go as long as you're being supervised by somebody that has their general or higher. So don't let that scare you away. All right,
Thank you.
anyone? Thank you, Brian. Anyone else? Is everybody excited? I know I am. All right. All right. Well, again, folks, I thank you so very much for being willing to come over here and participate with us. I'm looking forward to meet those that I haven't met. Larry, WX4B, did you have a question? I saw a hand raised.
No, I was raising my hand in answer to, are you excited?
Oh, okay. Thank you, Larry. Good job. Good job.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I got you. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, those of you that I haven't met in person yet, looking forward to it. We are going to have a fun time. If we get weather or anything like that, we'll deal with it as we can. But again, my big focus, just please do help us with the public as they're coming to visit. I've pushed this hard on Facebook. A lot. We've pushed it to some of the local area groups like in Pace and so on. So I'm expecting a decent turnout. But if it's just us there, we'll have a good time regardless. And thank you again. I can't thank you enough for helping us with this. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. All right, 7-3. Everybody, take care. Have a great night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.